Okay, let's talk about something completely different. You saw the thumbnail, you know what it is in the title, I guess. So this is a welder that a friend of mine got on Temu. So go ahead and open up the case here. And this is what's in the case. And I guess this was wrapped around the case, maybe. Just says handheld welder, 110 inverter welder, 120 amps. Comes with a brush and a face mask and the welder itself. Like I said, he got this on Temu just because he thought it looked cool and it might come in handy someday. And he got it for pretty cheap. Now, one thing to keep in mind, I don't really know anything about Temu, and I'm not familiar with this at all. So I'm definitely not affiliated or sponsored by anybody or anything. So he just showed it to me. He hasn't even tried it yet. He's not really a welder. He welded once a while ago, but he's not really a welder. Like I said, he just got it because he thought it was cool and he got it for cheap. So apparently they want like $200 for it, but he got it for $20. And I just told him I would try it out and see how it goes. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not expecting much, but I hope I'm wrong. I really hope this thing is cool. I really hope it does a good job, because if it does do a good job, then I would like to get one for myself, because I like the idea of it. I like the concept of it. But let's take a look at what's in here. Here's the brush. You know, the 50-cent brush you can probably buy at Harbor Freight. Actually, it's probably cheaper than Harbor Freight brush. But, you know, it's better than nothing. Got a little chipping hammer and the brush here. I would definitely invest in a nicer one if you're going to do any amount of use with this. And the face mask. There's your welding helmet. I will not be using this. The lens is in here. I have not even looked at the instruction manual yet. I will take a look in the instruction manual before I try to use the machine, just so I have an idea of what I'm doing and so I don't damage anything. But, and I'm going to try to record welding with this. I've never recorded any welding at all. And I myself am not even a great welder. You know, welding is something I enjoy doing once in a while, but I don't do it enough to really get good at it. And it has been a really long time since I've even done any arc welding. So I'm probably like really sucky at it right now. But I hope it's like, you know, riding a bike. And here's the handle that goes onto your face mask. But like I said, I'll use my own welding helmet. But when I record it, maybe I'll tape that to my camera to record through it, maybe. I don't know. We'll just kind of see how that goes. Like I said, I've never recorded any welding, so I'm not really sure exactly how that works or how to do that. But here's the unit itself. Of course, you've got your ground clamp, you've got your plug, and to put the electrode in, you just push there. That opens up your clamp, put the electrode in there. There's a setting knob here, just plus or minus is all you get, plus or minus, and little pull trigger here. So, oh, and you got an on and an off, and pull trigger here. So, first thought, first glance, I mean, it feels pretty hefty. I'm tempted to take it apart just to see what's on the inside, but since it's not mine, I don't know if I should do that or not. I don't think he would care if I did, but I don't think I'll be taking it apart. Maybe if I buy one for myself, I'll take it apart so we can see what's in it. But just kind of first thoughts. Like I said, I'm not expecting much. I am assuming that even if it does work well, which, like I said, I hope it does, if it does work decently well, I'm assuming that the duty cycle is going to be really low. Meaning I would be very surprised if you could do any more than about 10 or 15 minutes before you have to just stop and let it cool down. I'm hoping the instructions will give me some ideas about that. but I highly doubt you're going to be able to like run this thing all day, like hours on end without having any problems. So like I said, probably got a really low duty cycle. Weld for a few minutes, let it cool down, and then go at it again. But what I will do then, like I said, I'll read the instructions. I'll go set up a little stand outside. I'll get a couple of different pieces of steel. I'll try some thin stuff, some thicker stuff. I don't do a lot of sheet metal welding. I mean, very, very minimal sheet metal welding. I'm not that great at sheet metal. So I'll get some thicker stuff, some 1/8 inch, some 1/4 inch, and then I'll find some sheet metal, whatever I've got, 18, 20 gauge, whatever I can find. And we'll just see how it goes. I've got some just basic generic electrodes I'll use. And one thing that my friend was a little bit disappointed with is that it did not come with electrodes. And I told him, well, that's probably because there's so many different kinds. They don't know what kind of welding you're going to be doing. But there are just general purpose, cheapo electrodes. They could have thrown a couple of them in here. And some of you might be saying, well, when you buy a welder, it doesn't really come with electrodes. And I understand that. But you got to think of the target market for this. The person who's going to buy this is not a professional welder who has a professional weld shop. The person who would be interested in this is somebody who just does very minimal hobby grade type of welding to just take it out and work on their car a couple of times. And so they probably want to buy something that they can just open up and get working and get to welding without having to go out and buy extra stuff. So I do kind of agree that for what this is, it should have came with a couple of electrodes. You can agree or disagree. That's just my opinion. So yeah, I think it should have come with a couple of just very basic general purpose electrodes. Also, keep in mind, if you're new to my channel, I am not a product review channel. I am not a welding channel. So if you came here to watch this video because you're looking for that, that's not what I'm about. Of all of my videos, I only have a couple of product review videos. I only have a couple of videos that have anything to do with welding. I'm more of a model making channel. So, and also since I'm not a professional welder, I may struggle with this, and it might just be my lack of practice. Also, if any of you have one of these and have used one of these and you disagree with my overall opinion when I'm done, please let me know in the comments. I mean, it's very possible that I have a hard time with this and I can't get it to work right, and I say it's a piece of junk, but some of you are like, well, you dummy, you were using it wrong. You had the setting wrong, or who knows. So if I'm doing something wrong that's giving me a bad result, let me know in the comments and I'll redo it and I'll try it again, and I'll try your suggestions and I'll correct myself and do that. Or if I say this thing's incredible and I love it and I want to buy my own, but some of you guys out there bought one and you're like, yeah, it works fine for the first week, then after that it just blows up, let me know. Because obviously I'm not going to be able to test this thing like long term. So yeah, if you disagree with my opinion of this, put it in the comments, let me know, and maybe I'll reevaluate my opinion. But like I said, let me get set up, let me get some metal ready, and we'll see how it goes. So see you back here in just a bit. So I'm sitting here and editing the video, and I just realized that when I was doing all the other welding, like the sheet metal and the angle and the other pieces, apparently I forgot to hit record. So I apologize that you don't get to see any more welding than what you got to see, but I'll show you the pieces obviously coming up. But yeah, I thought I had recorded a lot more welding than I actually did, but apparently I forgot to hit record. So you get to see my sleeping cat instead. So anyways, sorry, back to the normal video. Okay, so I think that, one of the bravest things somebody can do is show their welding on YouTube, to all of the experts. Like I said before, it's been a really long time since I've done any arc welding, but I got to tell you, I never struggled that hard to strike an arc. Even when I was brand new to it and first learning, I did not struggle that hard. Now, the first one wasn't too bad. This is the first one. Now, what I was using, the rod I was using, was one of these. It's a E6011, 1/8 diameter rod. These are just very general purpose, just basic general purpose welding for mild steel. And it took a couple of tries on the first one, but then it started and was going okay. And it was going fine, and I was actually rather impressed with it. And on the back side, you could see I was getting fairly decent penetration. But then, when I went to try again, I could not get it to start an arc to save my life. I was trying and trying. I was trying different techniques. I could not get it to maintain an arc. And I don't know if I just got lucky when I got that one to start, or if something happened inside the machine to where it couldn't hold the current or the starting voltage went down. I have no idea. I have no clue. Maybe it was just me. It was probably just me. But like I said, it only took me a couple of tries and I got an arc going. And then after that, I just, like I said, could not get it to start an arc. So then I moved on to a different rod. I moved on to an E6013, which is a smaller diameter rod. This is for lighter stuff. This is good for sheet metal. It's a much smaller rod. And again, these are good for thinner stuff and sheet metal stuff. And on the sheet metal, I was going a little fast because I felt like I was about to blow through. It was melting that pretty good. And like I said, it felt like it was going to go through, so I was going pretty quick. I should have turned the amperage down. I didn't think to try that. Like I said, I'm not a professional welder. I just play around a little bit. So if I would have turned the amperage down, I probably could have slowed down and got a nicer bead without worrying about blowing through. Well, then I tried that smaller rod on this plate, and that's this one here. Notice it's a skinnier bead, and I was going quite a bit slower, but that's as far as I got before it blew the fuse in my house. When I said in the video, and it just shut down. Well, that wasn't the welder that shut down. That was blew a fuse in the house. I'm running on a 15 amp fuse. And yes, my house has fuses, not breakers. And I only have a couple of fuses left. I blew like 3 fuses doing this video. So this was going pretty well. Again, heat's going through the back, so I think the penetration is pretty good. But that's as far as I could get before it blew a fuse. Now, before you comment about how I should be on a higher amperage outlet, I fully agree. This would do a lot better if it was on like a 20 or 30 amp. Even a 30 amp would be ideal. But keep in mind, I have operated my MIG and my TIG on that same 15 amp outlet with no issues. Like, I've done a lot of welding, not so much with the TIG, but with the MIG, my $100 Lowe's MIG. I've done a lot of welding with that on that same outlet with no issues, no problems. Even like high amperage welding, some pretty thick stuff, no problems. This thing, you get 1/2 inch long and it blows a fuse. So again, 30 amp outlet would be a lot better. I just don't have one easily available where I'm working. I would have to string out a really long extension cord to do that. And I don't want to do that. Now, this one, you can see I tried multiple times. I thought maybe if I changed the piece of metal. I tried multiple times with that bigger rod, and it just would not start. So I went back to the smaller rod. I tried to weld them together. I didn't bridge the gap good enough. I didn't have them clamped tightly together. I got a nice bead, well, nice. I got a bead here and a bead here, but it just didn't fuse the gap. So I clamped them tighter together and I tried again. Now this one is looking pretty good. And again, that's with that smaller rod. Let me just squeezy, see if I can break that. Actually, man, that's actually stuck on pretty good. I'm sure, man, I'm sure if I banged on it with a hammer or got a pry bar in there, I could probably break it apart. But it just started to bend. Man, actually, I'm pretty impressed now. I cannot break that little bit of attack there. I got it to bend a little bit. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. I weakened it. But I guarantee you, if I carried that bead, even like an inch, I wouldn't be able to break that. But it's going now. I tell you what, I thought it was going to go. There it is. All right. So yeah, I got it broke. But again, it's only like 1/4 of an inch of a bead. If I could have gotten that good here, you wouldn't have been able to break that. So yeah, I think the issue here was I think I was going too fast, and I wasn't taking my time bridging that gap. Here, I really slowed down a lot to bridge the gap, but that's as far as I got before it blew a fuse. So I went that far before it blew a fuse. And again, just going too fast. When I actually slowed down and started working in some penetration, it only went that far before it blew the fuse. So is this thing worth... My friend said he paid 20 bucks for it. Is it worth 20 bucks? Yeah, I would say it's worth 20 bucks. Again, it's got a really low duty cycle. It did a couple of times. It just stopped. If it overheats, that little light will come on. I never noticed that light come on, but it did stop a few times, and I would just have to wait a few minutes before it would start again. So it's got a really low duty cycle. I would recommend plug it into a 30 amp outlet, because if you do 15, you're just going to trip your breakers or blow fuses every 1/4 inch of welding. And also definitely, you got to use a smaller rods. It just cannot handle the current of that bigger rod unless I'm doing something wrong. Like I said, if any of you have been using one of these for a while and you know for a fact I'm wrong, please put it in the comments. I'm definitely curious to know what other people think about this who have been using this. Maybe I'm completely wrong. That's very possible. That's very likely. I don't know. Let me know. Now, just in case any of you are curious about the specs, it says output voltage 24.8, no load voltage 58. Now, it does say right here 20% duty cycle. So duty cycle 20%. If you flip back here, it says do not overload. It says the operator should remember to watch the max duty current response to selected duty cycle. Keep welding current is not to exceed max duty cycle current. Overload current will damage and burn up a machine. How the heck do I make sure I'm not doing that? So it said 20% duty cycle, but it just says don't exceed. Is this a stupid question? Am I really that dumb? Be nice in the comments, please. I don't understand this. If anybody can explain that simply, again, put it in the comments. And down here it says, if the duty cycle is exceeded, it'll just stop working. So does it damage the machine or does it just stop working until it's cooled down? Because that's what this says. That little light comes on and the cooling fan will stay on to cool it down, then it'll start working again. So what's the difference between this and this? I have no clue. I don't know. But also in here, it says too much spatter when use MMA welding. Output terminal polarity connection is wrong. It should apply the opposite polarity at the normal techniques. I don't know. Which means that the stick should be connected to the negative and the workpiece should be connected with the positive. You can't, how do you reverse the polarity? You got the electrode that goes here, you got the clamp that goes on the thing. How the heck are you reversing polarity? So yeah, there's these manuals. I don't know. Like I said, if any of you have any additional thoughts, please put it in a comment. I'm definitely curious. Um, but just from what little bit I played around with this, for thinner stuff, light duty stuff, for just simple repairs around the house or on your car, this thing it's good. Or I should say, it's not horrible, and definitely more convenient than dragging out your larger weld. Like if you have like a MIG or something like that, and you just got a really quick 5-minute job, this would be a lot more convenient to drag out to wherever you need to go instead of like pulling out your bigger welder. So it is convenient. It did stick some metal together, but I would need more practice with it. And but like I said, I keep repeating myself. Let me know what you think, especially those of you who have experience with this. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm right or wrong or whatever. So I've been rambling on way too much. So until next time, thanks for watching.